The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show. Another Square Ball update, taking us through the summer. Dan here with Michael and with Rob in a show that is brought to you by Levi Solicitors. We're not quite sure whether they're going to renew yet for the new season. It's exciting, isn't it? We get confirmation in the next few days. If they do, it'll be the testimonial season.
Is it 10 years, is it?
10 years they've put up with this.
Wow. Just goes to show what a job we've done. Me. I've done most of it.
You deserve all the credit, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Getting a commission?
Propping him up. I mean, they do pay to sponsor it, so I suppose it's a commission of sorts, isn't it? Keeps this enterprise going a bit longer.
The Sorry Enterprise being us, not
Yes, us.
not Levi Solicitors, who are great bunch of lads and lasses.
Indeed. What do they do?
Wills Probate and Conveyancing.
That's true.
And all the rest of the services that you'll find at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball for a 10% discount on your legal fees. Full terms on the website, link in the episode description box as well. Come on, don't just big yourself up, big them up as well, quickly.
What do you want to know about some of the other services?
Just one of them, just any.
Litigation.
Right.
Lasting powers of attorney. And that's powers, so that's more than one. So there you go, that's all you're getting.
Right, thank you very much, Michael. Right, an update then for the summer. We've got some players coming in. Exciting times. Transfer window is back open for July. It feels like it's slowly sort of cranking back up into life now. We've had some incomings and we've seen Paddy returning as a beefcake. Where do you want to start with it?
Our new left back. It feels very disconcerting that Leeds United are signing a left back so early in a summer transfer window. It feels like we should drag this one out across the season, really, into next season, across the next 5 years. We don't sign left backs, do we? But we've got one.
We do. And technically we've signed two because we've got Sam Byram as well.
He was never a left back, not really. He was always a right back.
Tell that to the recruitment team, Michael.
Yeah, he's the first left back we've actually bought since Junior Firpo, isn't he? In terms of a proper one.
Yeah, I was looking back at Farke's first season and who we had playing left back before Firpo got fit. There was Sam Byram, Jamie Shackleton had a go, Cody Drammer for about 40 minutes, Jed Spence.
That was enough, wasn't it?
Surely he'll be ready for a move now to the continent.
Cody Drammer?
Yeah.
On the verge of Dortmund, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, I imagine so. Or Newcastle, that was the other one name that was linked, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. But Gabriel Gudmundsson, Swedish international, 26 years old, which seems to be exactly the checkbox that they've got activated on the spreadsheet filter this time.
Bit of resale. He's not as big as the others.
Yeah. Does he clear 6 foot?
No, I don't. He's like 5'11", I think, isn't he? Which is, I guess, for a fullback, is relatively hefty. But he's no Dan Burn.
No.
Who was presumably the dream.
It's funny, I had him in mind as well for this example. Maybe we're just thinking about Dan Burn.
Maybe so.
But yeah, Champions League, international experience. Another Swede, which is nice. We've always had historic links to Scandinavia. Obviously, previous Swedes include Thomas Brolin.
Yeah,
Teddy Lucic.
I sort of felt like the official website maybe should have not bothered with this list.
Teddy Lucic, great Baldwin.
Very good, very smooth. Yeah, very smooth, very peanut-shaped head as well.
Yeah, Marcus Antonsen, Pontus Jansson, and Pavel Chabitsky.
A mixed bag.
Yeah, Antonsen and Chabitsky, very much the opposite of Lukic, really, isn't he? There, very hairy men.
The most expensive Swede we've ever bought, which is taking some pressure off Thomas Brolin.
What's the fee then? We're talking about 10 million quid or thereabouts.
Something like, yes.
Yeah, his YouTube highlights from last season, which is obviously where all our knowledge comes from. Not the most exciting because he scored twice and I think he got 1 assist across the whole year. So there's a lot of him winning throw-ins, which is exciting. Well, that's helpful for next season.
Does he celebrate moments when he wins throw-ins?
No, he's a proper footballer. He just gets on with it. He's not a joke.
Strikes us, is it quite like a vanilla signing almost? Because he's sort of got an air of I don't know, like the lead singer of a Coldplay tribute band or something like that.
Yeah, I think his haircut's a bit Stuart Dallas, but I'm fine with vanilla fullbacks. I think seeing Firpo play right wing was a lot of fun. But at the same time, I think next season we probably just need someone to stand at left back, which Sam Byram is good at. But I was looking like he played in Champions League wins over Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid last year. They drew with Juventus. I think it's Lille we've signed him from, isn't it? And they had the second best defence in France last season. So that all sounds very sensible and things that are probably good.
Yeah, he does seem on paper quite reliable as a left back, I suppose, in terms of minutes played at a good level, all that sort of stuff. The Rasmus thing does play on my mind here because I remember when we signed him, we were all like, oh yeah, that all seems pretty sensible. He's played at a decent level. He seems kind of physically up to it, and then pretty quickly you were like, oh no, turns out he's absolutely terrible. But I'm sure that's not the case.
You could say that with all signings, though. You can't let Rasmus Christensen ruin every fullback signing from here on in.
I guess so.
Interesting hearing about how granular they've gone on the data side of things as well, tendency to go to ground, angle of first pass, things like that, speed over 10 metres. So it sounds like the data that's gone into the recruitment this summer is very considered, very measured. They're all pretty big lads. They're all mid-20s coming into peak years. Seems like they're taking a steer away from recruiting too many younger lads, sort of an experience. There's obviously rumours around Sean Longstaff. Looks like perhaps he's going to be the next one in, which to me, I see that in terms of vanilla Premier League signings, he's absolutely slap bang in the middle of that. But I'm really, really encouraged by the idea that they're going to go and do that at that price point as well.
It feels very difficult to get excited about him, doesn't it? Which is harsh. Like he's probably... Well, he's almost certainly a better signing than Mark Rocker, for example. But there was a bit of Mark Rocker being new and foreign that you went, oh, he might be really good. And then you saw him within about 2 months, you were like, oh, I don't think he's very good, as it turns out. Whereas Longstaff played loads of games at the Premier League for a good team.
He's done 170 games or something.
It feels like he would be quite a sensible signing, and for not all that much money, because they're talking about 10 plus 2 in add-ons, which I guess is once we stay up. They'll get the extra couple of million. So it does make a lot of sense.
And it's the complete opposite thing to what we did last time when we were crying out for players like that. So I think on that account, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I was about to make exactly that same point and ask you that same question. Don't you wish we'd done this last time round? And that answers it. I think, if we'd had done more of this last time and gone for those 7 out of 10 steady, what you might term like surefire bets almost, then I think it would have been less, I don't know, less erratic in his form, maybe.
I mean, you did like Georgie Rutter, but God, it was a pointless signing, wasn't it, in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Did nothing at all.
And he's effectively replacing Joe Rothwell if we do sign him. And Joe Rothwell was that 7 out of 10 player. Maybe he had better games than that at times, but he was pretty steady away. And it's just what we need.
He's definitely not coming back, is he, Rothwell? Because he's gone to Rangers.
Bless him. I suppose the 49ers are looking after him there to an extent.
So I think it's a good move for him. It's a good move for Rangers as well.
Yeah.
I suspect.
Russell Martin.
New feeder club. I kind of like the shape of the recruitment, because there's been a lot of noise around Sunderland, and obviously Siddiqui and Diarra who've ended up there. And they seem to be going for very much African players based not in top 5 leagues, for fees at about sort of 18, 20, even all the way up to sort of 25, 30 million. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just my own bias towards what Leeds are doing, but I feel like I like the sort of considered, measured approach that we're taking to this, rather than it being scattergun. And I don't know if I'm just trying to talk myself into believing that we're going to survive on that basis, but
I believe that's what's happening. Yes.
Is that also? Is that? I'm just.
If we had Sunderland's approach, you'd be finding a way to talk yourself into that.
I can understand why their fans are getting excited by what they're doing compared to where they are, but I think they probably are underestimating just how difficult the Premier League is. And as we know from when last time we were up, you can't just chuck a £20-odd million signing in and expect them to make a huge difference.
I think the fees dictate the excitement though as well, don't they? Because really we're talking about a load of footballers that, certainly personally speaking, I have never seen play. So I can't get too excited about us missing out, too annoyed about us missing out on some of these players. And likewise, I'm not absolutely sat with a pillow over my lap because we've signed Goodmanson and what's the defender called? Barnowell?
Yeah.
Barnowell.
Barnowell.
Who, he's another big lad from Germany, seems to have played at a high level, doesn't seem to have cost very much.
His head can turn all the way around.
Is that right?
Useful.
That's
very good.
Spotting defensive.
Good for scanning.
Right.
That's why he's such a threat at set pieces, isn't it?
Indeed.
Swoops in and so on. So he's come from Wolfsburg. It sounds like Joski Lavogi had a little word in his ear. So he was about £5 million, pretty low fee, into the last year of his contract, which maybe is something that they're looking at, identifying targets that are not going to be too expensive to recruit. Has had injury problems, but most of all, he's a big lad.
Well, you think he's most likely the Verber replacement. Seems like the obvious spot for him, but hopefully he will contribute more than Max Verber.
I mean, Verber was injured all the time anyway, so if Barnowell is as well, as long as he's not a complete shithouse, it's fine by me.
Yeah, again, another one that you kind of go, oh, okay, well, Fine. My scouting of Bornout extended to looking at Football Manager profiles, and he was on some recommended lists of people you should buy in the Premier League and it was like recommended for teams like Palace and Brentford to sign on there, and I was like, okay, well, I suppose that's where we're trying to get to initially. So
is that what Adam Underwood's been looking at as well? Do you reckon?
It could well be, yeah. Just look at who's good to sign on there.
If you look at his stats on FBref.com, where you can compare him to the rest of the centre-back market, he scores really, really high. Aerial duels is in the top 1 percentile,
right?
Which makes me wonder, is that the data point they've identified there? Similar players to Sebastian Bornau. Do you know who's number 1? Charlie Cresswell.
Yeah. He's not gone anywhere yet, has he?
Has he not gone to Italy yet? Was he on about going to Como?
It was Como, and then Sunderland were apparently in for him as well at one
really?
point, but I don't know if he's actually gone anywhere yet.
We get some money, don't we, if he leaves? So
yes, it seems we probably get a little bit of it. But
he goes for £100 million.
Also in that top 10, second is Nikola Milenkovic, who's the Serbian centre-back at Forest, and the other notable name in there is number 7, Harry Maguire. So maybe that's the sort of thing you're going to get, is the big-headed clearance-winning machine if and when he plays.
I mean, given the last time we were in the Premier League, we tried to do it with Diego Llorente, who was anything but that. He was a creative centre-back who lost his mind on more than one occasion. So I think having someone who can just lump it away for the majority of the time I'm kind of all right with.
Yeah, because I know there's a bit of consternation about how we've not signed a striker or a number 10 or a winger as yet. And they are like...
Or a goalkeeper.
Yeah, we'll get onto that. But yeah, they are the exciting, flashy signings you want. But then I was looking at when we were last in the Premier League. We scored the second most goals in the bottom half of the league, but we conceded the most goals in the league. So actually, let's just get the defence sorted. I would like a goalkeeper as part of that, but if we're just signing 17 centre-backs, they'll probably come in handy at some point.
It does feel a little bit, you're saying it's not maybe as exciting as certain things. It does feel we're a bit, if it were a meal, it's a bit carb-heavy so far, isn't it? Yeah. It's all like, yeah, this is good. This is all filling stuff. This is things we need, but where's the meat? Where's the sauce?
Yeah.
We're just lacking a bit of anything to get excited about.
Potatoes are great.
It's a lot of potato so far, though, isn't it? Which is maybe harsh, but big centre backs, left backs.
You want some sexy protein?
I do a bit, yeah. I do.
That could be today's show name.
I want a little jug of sauce to put over.
That could be today's show name, sexy protein.
Yeah, it's got a very queuing for bread vibe about it. At the moment.
Just diving through these stats, like he's in the top percentiles for basically all forms of goals conceded against per 90, but the only big caveat there is that it's based on under 800 minutes of football being played. That's the big kind of gotcha there.
He's talking on ball now here.
Yeah.
Goodmanson.
Yeah, he's it's based off a fairly small data set, but he's remarkably efficient. And it's always interesting monitoring like the opposition fans of the clubs that we're buying from. Like the Lille fans seem to be regarding Goodmanson pretty well and saying, he never quite got the full run out that he deserved. Sorry to see him go. Bornau was kind of, I'm glad we've got rid of that croc. A bit of that, but also maybe he was hampered by injuries. Was sort of one of the themes that came out of the comments that their fans were sort of posting, because there's always that kind of, when you're selling a player, well, we didn't want him anyway, kind of attitude towards it. But I'm quietly encouraged by it, and not all transfers can work, but the sort of players that we're going for, it interests me, I suppose, like on an abstract level, to see if this is going to work. The whole Big Bastards FC thing.
It's not glamorous, is it? The current policy, but maybe there's someone up the sleeve.
It's something different though as well, and it is something I've quite fancied at times. When you're just watching us pass the ball around the back, especially playing in the championship, where some of the games were quite boring because the opposition just weren't doing anything. But yeah, I want some big bastards sort of creating havoc and causing havoc.
Well, even thinking back to like that game at Portsmouth that we ended up losing, that was on ITV, wasn't it? We got a bit bullied in that game. We still should have won it because Pirro missed that absolute sitter, didn't he? But in the rest of the game, their players kind of rode the crest of the wave that was created by the atmosphere. They kind of harnessed the home crowd in that sense. And it just felt like at times, if there was a weakness in that Farke team, it was that we were a little bit too easy to bully. We were obviously technically better than just about every team in that division at all times, but very occasionally couldn't compete with this sort of more roughhouse stuff, I suspect.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well, a lot of people seem to be concerned about the fact Sunderland are nicking a lot of our signings. But we've got to remember as well how far ahead of Sunderland we actually were last year.
Mm.
Like
it's 24 points, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it as much as that? Yeah, I mean, they were miles behind us. So they do need to do more work, you would say, than us. And yeah, well, time will tell if we've dodged a bullet here or whether or not we've made the right choice to draw a line in these things. Because remember when we were signing Jean-Kevin, there was a lot of talk about, Man United wanted him as well, and we had to work really hard to stop anyone hijacking the deal. And you look back and you think, Christ, I wish someone had hijacked it. Like, if only he'd answered his phone and he could have gone somewhere else, and we wouldn't have to been stuck with the bill.
Well, there is another underlying truth to this in what Kinnear told us in the times when he came in and spoke to us, which is that one of the
Kinnear telling the truth.
One of the problems you face as a promoted side is you cannot recycle your squad fast enough because of the PSR limits. It's really, really hard to do. It's almost an unbridgeable gap. And that's the main challenge that you face, isn't it? So if you blow your beans on a load of £25 million signings, suddenly your budget gets eaten up. And even if you are going to play fast and loose with the PSR regulations, there's only so many of those you can probably do from a cash point of view as well. Not to mention you've got to factor in wages, things like that. So I don't know. I just hope it works. Obviously,
I'm sure it will. We'll see. The danger is looking at the division. There aren't many other than the promoted teams. There is not an obvious candidate, is there, for coming down. The Keith Andrews thing maybe it makes you hope for Brentford.
I think Brentford, Wolves, I think Everton you can't discount because they've only got about...
Everton will never go down.
Yeah, but do you know what? But
how long have you been watching football? They'll never go down.
But I do wonder if they lose a little bit of the sparkle from leaving Goodison and going into the new stadium. And like, for example, do you see the story about them not being happy where the home dressing room is? And it's been put miles away from the pitch to accommodate one of those like tunnel viewing areas for a corporate lounge.
Oh, okay.
So David Moyes was apparently bemoaning the length of the walk back to the dressing room, and I've seen a video of it online. You can find it.
Do you think they'll be tired?
Well, no, it's that you get less tired. Like at half time, if it takes their players an extra minute to walk to the dressing room, and it is a long walk, by the way.
Right.
If it takes them an extra minute to walk, then you're losing out on half-time time. He was not pleased about it. Whereas the away dressing room is a lot closer, so they can start delivering their messages sooner. Marginal gains, Michael.
Just how long is this tunnel? It's going to take a minute to walk.
I was genuinely.
It's in the Wirral.
Yeah, you can find. There's a video of it. One of the contractors has done like a time lapse video of it, and if you can like search it on YouTube or whatever. If you put in Everton tunnel, whatever new stadium, you'll find it, and it is a long way. Like, it feels like a long way to me. When I watched it, I was like, surely they're not going to turn any more corners, but they have done. They've stuck it quite deep into the bowels of the stadium. So I just wonder if maybe, I don't know, do Everton lose a little bit of their edge? Because going into a new stadium like that, it's not home yet, is it? And you kind of, like you're singing people and your crowd is atomized a little bit, and where's going to be the end that sings? And I don't know. So maybe do you just lose a little bit of that home field advantage by moving into a new stadium?
Yeah, that is probably fair, because you don't have any familiarity, do you, when you first play in it? You'll feel like you're at an away game for the first few times you play there. Yeah,
and
and can they cope with the loss of Jack Harrison?
Well, they've only got about a dozen players still on the book, so they've got to do a lot of work. And I suspect they haven't got a load of money to play with either.
There's talk that they might go back in for Jack Harrison because he'd probably be cheap, so they can sign some better players as well. I've noticed on his Instagram that he doesn't seem to be back in Leeds yet, does he?
I know he's been photographed in the official training wear.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
All right.
I've not seen that. I've only seen videos of him training with another bloke.
His last Instagram story, which was either today or yesterday, was him training with someone else, I think.
His hair's very much receding now, which I'm pleased to note. So I mean, that's a benefit,
right?
I suppose we're getting
more of a kind of a personal niche interest.
A slightly balding man might be coming back. But yeah, I did see that story that Everton would be willing to have him on a free.
Is that what it was? Right.
That was Montail, and I was like, well,
we've got him on a free.
Exactly. We might as well keep him. I'd rather keep him here and ruin his career than let him go somewhere else on a free. Let's bang him in the reserves if that's going to be our option.
He would be an interesting bellwether for Everton's situation, I think, if they choose to go back in for him against the sort of wishes of their fans, even for a relatively low fee. I think it would indicate that they've not got a lot of wriggle room themselves either.
Well, the managers always like Jack Harrison, don't they? That is one thing.
Yeah, I think that was the talk, wasn't it? It's just like a bit of a known quantity to Moyes, even if the known quantity is quite average at best.
Yeah, no bother kind of thing. Yeah. But there's an irony, I suppose, in that we're kind of championing the known quantity of someone like Longstaff as a 7 out of 10 player, and you could argue even if Harrison lacks end product, is he not a similar sort of player? Like he's a bit of a known quantity at Premier League level, or is he just not quite sexy?
Well,
enough?
I saw some Everton fans wanting him prosecuting last year for some of his performances. So
Right.
I think he dipped below 7 out of 10.
Okay.
For the most part. But I mean, if he came back, would it be so bad? I don't know.
It wouldn't be as bad as people think.
No.
But nobody'd enjoy it.
I still don't particularly have any ill will towards Jack Harrison, but I just think there's no appetite for it. And I don't think does he have any appetite for it, really? Does Leeds United as a club? Does the fan base? I just think go play in MLS like was rumoured last season.
He does have credit, admittedly quite distant credit, but he does have credit in the bank, doesn't he, in a way that Verber and Aronson didn't when they came back. And you've had to be like, okay, well, let's see.
Well, let's finish the chat on Harrison by saying this. I'll offer a piece of advice, which you can choose to take or not. If we do end up incorporating him into the squad this year, go back and watch the Bielsa first season, all the goals video, and you'll see, actually, he looked really good in that.
Is that the first season when people wanted Jack Clark to play instead?
The second season, yeah. And the third season as well.
But he was surprisingly better maybe than we give him.
Yeah, he did. He made some good contributions.
So if we have to take our medicine, that's possibly the best way to do it.
I mean, that first, both Premier League seasons. No, the last Premier League season we almost sold him, didn't we? But he was a key part of the team in all those years. Actually,
Actually, he could have helped us bankrupt Leicester sooner if we'd gone there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
there's money on the table, wasn't there? Yes, as you were saying, Verber has gone out thoroughly unloved, I think, generally speaking. Due to the nature of his exit, and it's because it sounds like he was supposed to be one of the defensive linchpins in Farke's post relegation plans to get us back up, and then he jumped ship, didn't he? So, and then spoke about how great he was.
Yeah, I think that's why I feel very different towards him than I do towards Jack Harrison, for instance, because Verber signed and it was him standing in front of the side before self or whatever, saying I'll give anything for this club, and then 6 months later we'd got relegated with him in the team, and by all accounts he suggested to Farke that he was willing to stick around as well. And then did he captain us in pre-season and then just buggered off? And as you say, he was talking about how great he was while the team he was playing for in Germany were conceding goal after goal after goal. Albeit the club statement made him sound like a right promotion hero, didn't it?
I know. I did
very
wonder
strange.
what
they were just being nice, weren't they?
But I loved the detail in all the reporting around this that basically we wanted to sell him, but we couldn't make a profit on him with PSR because everyone thinks he's too much of a cart horse to pay anything. So it's like, we'll send him on loan for another year, and then people only have to pay like £2 million for him.
He's been injured a lot as well, hasn't he? So that's the other thing. It'd be quite a gamble.
From
the bits we did see last year as well, you wouldn't rate him any higher than any of our other defenders, would you? Including Sam Byram, who we've just signed.
Yeah, I mean, he did do all right when he covered at left back a little bit because he scored that goal. Was it against Watford? I'm going to say at home, something like that. I can't remember. Derby, or it was. He scored that goal.
Joe Rodon scored that day, though. You know, it's just weird things around him.
But yeah, I mean, unloved. Nobody really wants him here. I get the sense he never really wanted to be here. It's just one of those. It's best for all parties type moves, isn't it? That we just part ways. It feels like there's a little bit of clearing the decks going on this summer, and probably will be next summer as well, where it's getting the kind of the autumn years behind us, and then we can move on and move into this brave new world.
We've not seen any major departures yet, have we? Actually,
no.
I was kind of half expecting at least a few to have gone. Probably Melier. I thought maybe we'd have seen something with Joffrey or Greenwood or something by this stage.
Well, Greenwood, Jesus, I thought he was still playing for Leeds.
Hull are under embargo, aren't they? So they can't sign Joffrey now.
Yeah, that looks like a bit of bother for them. Not as bad as Sheffield Wednesday though.
No.
That's something, I suppose. At least if we get relegated next year, we won't be playing them because they'll be going down
into probably to the North East Counties League at this rate. They're absolutely knackered, aren't
they?
Yeah. Junior's gone, as we were saying. He's probably the highest profile departure. Has he confirmed Betis yet, or not? I don't think
not yet. No,
but we got a long farewell from him, so we know he's going.
Very dramatic, grand Instagram post that, wasn't it? I've not quite seen an exit video like that, but I don't know. It feels to me like the right time with Firpo. I just think I was writing about this on the blog this week, but that photo of him on the last day of the season at Plymouth, sat in front of the away end with a championship trophy at his feet. It's never going to be better than that for him. So I think what a moment to say bye on.
Yeah, it's a romantic end to the movie, isn't it? Having him leave now. The next bit where you sign for another 3 years and you have a bad year and then he's injured a bit and you're like, oh, kind of like old junior Firpo, this. I preferred... Hopefully we'll get relegated and he can have a nice championship year again.
It was the sweet spot, wasn't it? We said this on the show we did with Ed Cowburn, chatting about the kits, because Firpo, as it turns out, is on the school run with Ed, so he's got to know him just a little bit. And I suppose you don't want to sully a nice memory now, do you? It's the right moment just to... It's always going to leave some what ifs, but some of those what ifs are bad as well as good.
Yeah. I feel like he achieved a mug, which we never thought he would. It was... The junior Firpo mug was a joke, wasn't it?
Do we need to now discount those, by the way?
Era. No, we've only got a dozen left or something.
Put the price up, if anything.
That's true, yeah. I'm going to
collector's items.
hold some back. Him and Dan James, the mugs we couldn't shift. Look at them now. But I must admit there was a bit of me thinking, well, we do need left backs, and we've already owned him, so we wouldn't have any in terms of PSR stuff. We don't have to pay a fee, which would be beneficial to us. Maybe he could stay, but it sounds like it was never offered from his own statement, doesn't it? He said it was never an option to stay, was his phrasing of it.
Albeit he has been talking up a return to Real Betis for about 3 years as well, so it just feels like the best thing for everyone a little bit. I'd rather just get fed up with a new left back. Yeah, let's really hound Gabriel Goodmanson out there.
Shiny new toys.
Yeah. How long's Goodmanson's contract?
4 years.
4 years. We'll hate him by the end of it.
Same as Firpo, then, isn't it? So, yeah.
All we're asking for is competent left backs. It's not much to ask, is it?
It'll be Sam Byram. Before we know it.
I'm fine with that as well.
Should we talk about goalkeepers? Because
let's talk about Sam Byram.
Well, we've said it. Sam Byram is like the dad of the squad, isn't he? He's a grown man. He'll keep them all in check. He's good for the homegrown rule. He's staying for another year. Yeah, nice.
I just wanted to say I'd be glad to see him play in the Premier League for us.
He's a good player.
He deserves it.
It doesn't get said enough.
Yeah. Maybe, he's obviously not a long-term answer to Premier League now, as he's the wrong side of 30 and all that. But let's not dispense with all the romance. If we can't have romance around Junior Firpo's grand return to the Premier League for the best, then let's have some with Sam Byram.
I've said it before, though. Like, we got promoted, finished 9th, and then said goodbye to Alioski, Hernandez, Berardi. And then for the next 12 months, we were all going, oh, shit, we really miss the character of them, even though none of them were particularly that crucial in the Premier League. Alioski played a fair bit, but... So yeah, keep these guys around. It's a bit of an intangible, but he's not going to be costing a lot of money in terms of his salary. Probably doesn't expect to play much.
No.
Good.
You get a big bench in the Premier League, don't you? So if he's just one person on that bench...
What size is it?
Really, Everton, it just stretches all the way across the Mersey. Right. Yeah, I've seen the videos.
The subs have got to start 10 minutes before they come on.
Is that right?
It's underneath it. It's like the Sea Life Centre.
Is that true?
That's how it goes, yeah. But yeah, if he's taking a space on that, and even if he's coming on for the final 3 minutes to waste a bit of time, see a game out, good. He deserves a little go at it though, because I feel like we need to get. In fact, I can see the very cover right in front of Rob on the table there, the one with. I think there's Byram and Mowat and Taylor and Lewis Cook on it, like the people that we didn't get to see play for Leeds in the Premier League, who probably deserved a shot at it because they were good players.
Yeah, Byram's already in a West Ham shirt by this point.
Yeah, and Cook's in his Bournemouth shirt, isn't he, on that? But let's get Cook back as well.
Right.
Some of these players deserve a little go for Leeds.
Well, there it is. Someone like Lewis Cook would be absolutely in a
little too small.
Right, okay. I was going to say in the Longstaff mould. How tall is Sean Longstaff? Is he 6?
He's not that big, is he? He's sort of.
Is he not? I thought
he's kind of average height, though, isn't he? I think he's like 5'11" or something. He's not qualifying as big bastard, I don't think.
5'11", 1.8 metres.
Alex Mowat's quite chunky. Get him back.
Speaking of chunky, let's talk about Pat Bamford's rippling bicep. Good God.
I don't know if that was just one picture. I'm yet to declare him the new Traore.
Right.
But good lighting, flattering lighting.
Well, his arm's all bent and he does look kind of...
He's flexing, isn't he?
Yeah.
As I think it was one person on Wacko put, it's just more weight for his feeble legs to carry.
Maybe he's reinventing himself.
Yeah.
Maybe it's.
But you know what? Even if he does end up injured or he doesn't play or whatever, at least he's doing the work.
At least he looks sexy.
Yeah, I've just seen this now. Actually, yeah, Sam Byram giving it a squeeze, so it must be impressive.
Yeah. Beefing himself up.
Something to do over summer, innit? Get big.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like the... do you remember when Andy Gray, as in Archie's dad, left us as a tricky winger and then he re-emerged for Sheffield United as a big shithouse target man?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Bamford's trying to sort of fast-track that sort of a thing. He's going, rather than being like the sort of rangy, lanky striker, he's going to come back as a kind of, I don't know, like an old-fashioned big brute up front, knocking people about.
silly, isn't it? But the sentimental part of my brain, the part that's saying, it would have been nice to keep Junior Firpo, thinks, is this the send-off year for Pat? He's put the work in. He's going to be beefy. Those 100 minutes we'll get out of him this season will be worth it. If he gets us like 4 or 5 crucial goals or something.
He can come in and J. Roy Grot someone into the stand.
Yeah, that was good.
I think he'd enjoy that. He's got enough low-key wind-up about him that I think he'd enjoy that.
He does reinvent himself a lot, actually. So this could be like, we'll get a move to Burnley or something. Well, the old Burnley.
He has an Ashley Barnes year.
Speaking of big shithouses, you see the links to Vanja Milenkovic-Savic, that absolutely insane keeper at Torino, 6'8". I don't even know if he's any good at keeping, but just in terms of what he offers as a brand, get him in.
I just saw 6'8" and was like, I really want him.
6'8", neck tattoos, beard, shaved head, good.
Yeah, looks capable of coming out and headbutting or biting a striker.
Yeah. He could easily be a mercenary. Yeah, is what I'm saying. So that's what
it's
I'm.
Nice to see you stereotyping Serbians.
No, but it could be in a biker gang.
Right.
He could be a drummer in a heavy metal band.
Mm-hmm.
He looks hard. Is what I'm saying.
I think lots of options for Muggs when we sign him.
I think as an alternative to Meslier, who's been a waif-like presence in our goal for far too long, having someone in there who you wouldn't want to get near as an attacker, because like with Meslier, you see strikers backing into him and stuff, and you can see he's not quite comfortable with it, whereas you wouldn't do that to this guy. He might be carrying a shank.
I imagine.
Get one of them in your ribs.
Well, I imagine. Yeah, like there's a striker backing into him and he's grinning maniacally. Like, I love this. I fucking love this.
VAR check. Oh, yes, you just shanked him.
Is that a sharpened toothbrush?
Expected shanks.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So let's get him. It sounds like we're not getting him anyway.
He's not going to be interested, is he?
He's got better options, apparently. Although one of the options that was better was Scum, apparently.
Right.
So don't do that.
Well, I think they're said to be sticking with Onana now.
I really hope they do.
Yeah.
Because he's brilliant. He's done so well from last season.
So, yeah, there's an option there. Rumours around Lucas Perry as well, the Lyon goalkeeper.
Because they've been relegated
due
to financial issues. They're appealing at the moment, but they need to find like 170 million or something to get out of their trouble, which feels like a lot of money. So
there could be a fire sale going on there. But yeah, not a lot of noise around much else at the minute. The Rodrigo Muniz thing, there's been sort of a quiet confidence, it sounds like, in the background that they might be able to get that done at some point this summer. But it almost feels like they're going to have to sort of, I don't know, maybe this explains the approach with everybody else, keep some money back for that, shall we say.
Or maybe they just think Fulham are asking too much, but wait a bit.
Wait till the end.
That's always a good
move.
Because
if they want to start recycling that money, yeah.
Yeah, if they want to buy someone, they might find they need to sell someone, and we'll see where we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, sign someone more exciting, though. That's all I will say.
Let's have a number 10 or something.
Yeah.
Albeit with all these midfielders we might be signing, I sort of think, are we going to play 4-3-3 or something? We're just going to do without a number 10.
I don't know. I don't feel like Farke will deviate too far from his previous plan. It might just have a slightly different shape and a slightly different approach. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe they have the two.
It's not going to change his plan. He's just going to change his shape and his approach.
Well, no, I mean, like, rather, say, for example, keep the sort of 4-2-3-1, but maybe tweak the component parts of it a little bit. So rather than having an out-and-out...
Rather than having Brendan Aronson, you have a midfielder. A 6'10".
Yeah.
Shithouse.
I'll just put all like Tanaka or something.
Yeah. So you have that as a third midfielder. And I know Brendy's talked himself up as a potential number 8, but I think with FC Big Bastards, I don't really see a place for Brendy in this. Maybe he's on the bench.
Maybe Pat Bamford can get him on the creatine.
Right.
There's still time. He's still a young man. If Pat can do it in his 30s, Brendy can definitely get some bulk on. And maybe play his way back into Big Bastards FC.
Yeah.
Or just learn to jump so we can win some headers.
Anyone else to touch on then, or are we done for today?
Players back in training.
Yep.
Alex Cairns was loving it, wasn't he?
Wasn't he? What a day, he said. Which is more than a better day than had at the Formula One.
Ramazani. Does he say this was shit?
Yeah.
Or does he say it was sick?
I thought he said it was shit.
I thought it was shit. It feels like the media team have left that bit in by accident.
Yeah, very much so. Have you seen it?
Upsetting somebody at Red Bull. I haven't seen it, but I saw the clip without watching it, but I kind of went, Right.
Yeah, he comes back and says, I'm looking sharp or something. And someone goes, how was the F1? He goes, it was shit.
It just cuts there, doesn't it?
Which wasn't the impression was given from the clips they put out of them at the F1.
Largy Ramazani hates Red Bull. Good lad.
Maybe it's because I did hear some complaints that food and drink was very expensive. Maybe that was his issue.
You'd take a pack up, wouldn't you?
Maybe he was like, oh, that's a bit. I'm not paying 14 quid for a wrap or something.
Right.
Maybe he'd probably upset about that.
Yeah.
It'd sour my day if I'd been there.
You'd be taking a packed lunch. There's no way you're risking those prices.
Exactly. Loads of cereal bars. Down the pants in case they're doing it.
Even if you're not allowed to take in your own food and drink, you're taking it in somehow, aren't you?
Undoubtedly so.
Absolutely. And the training kit looks absolutely great. I really like it.
Those apart from the Red Bull, which is always a bit dominant, isn't it?
Well, this is the price you got to pay, Michael, if you want all that filthy PSR money, as we were saying with Ed. It's the price you got to pay, and it looks better than some of the. I mean, I know we've had nice dealings with some of the other training kit sponsors in recent years have helped us with charity walk and stuff, but it is a bit more blue chip. It's a little bit more prestigious for the Premier League, isn't it? And I hope they're paying through the fucking nose for it.
We had Unibet last year, didn't we, on the training gear? I think.
I remember. I've just seen, though, on the Sam Byram contract extension photos, the Premier League badge on the sleeve of the kit just looks far too big.
Right.
It's a bit of a strange one.
And one other detail that we didn't mention with the new home kit on the show we did with Ed just talking about it, I think the numbers we're going to be in navy blue numbers this year rather than black. We've sort of veered between the two because they don't allow you to have royal blue numbers in the Premier League. You've got to pick off a prescribed list. You can have like yellow, white, red. There's navy blue, black, maybe a couple of others, but you're not allowed royal blue numbers.
Navy's fine.
Yeah,
I can't get too excited.
It's what Brighton do in it every time. They have their basically royal blue and white stripes, and then they put navy blue numbers on it, and it always it doesn't sit right with me. But I mean, it doesn't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't matter. No. It doesn't matter at all.
And with that, we must have definitely exhausted the chat for today. I'm getting caught up on the colour of the Premier League numbers, but the Premier League numbers are not those shonky EFL ones where you can have whatever colour you want.
Is that the rule in the EFL? Just do what you want.
You basically order a bunch of whatever colour you like. Yeah, I think they can. Yeah, you can have gold, silver.
Are they still going to?
Myrrh,
are they still doing that next year?
The EFL.
The EFL is it still?
I think it's still. Yeah. So I think they did fixtures for it. Whether they're going to bother with them, I don't know.
It's a bit if a tree falls in the woods, but no one's there to hear it.
Yeah,
it's great in the Championship when you're in it. Like, oh, it's such a better league than the Premier League. Then you leave it and you go, I'm watching that shit.
Yeah, I mean, like
it'd be terrible.
You know, they're not the top 20 lads. We're in a WhatsApp group with them. Just delete it off my phone. I'm not going crawling back to them in 12 months.
Yeah, archive it maybe.
Yeah,
just all right. You lads still going?
You're still going, are you lads? Can we come back in?
Yeah.
Right, we'll wrap it up there then, and another update for you next week. We'll just keep the updates going when stuff actually starts to happen. But we're getting there, aren't we? We're getting there. Stuff is now starting to trickle through, and I look forward to seeing who.
Emergency pod when we drop 50 mil.
Is that right?
On a number 10 or something.
Is that an exclusive?
It's not likely, I don't think, because I don't think we've got £50 million to spend, have we? Not on one player anyway.
But who knows? We'll see.
Keep it exciting.
See you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.